Now, MTN is saying that they are making your life easy. They are bringing you M-Care from MTN and Med Pharma, convenient healthcare for everyone. So with the silver and gold packages, you get to choose between 10 CDs or 161 CDs per month and enjoy access to a doctor anytime, anywhere, and an efficient e-pharmacy with medication delivered to your doorstep. And guess what? It comes with life insurance cover for hospitalization and death, and health insurance depending on your package. Download the MedPharma app to sign up to the silver or gold package today. Coming up next is Kickoff, the latest from the world of sport, brought to us by Zonda. Zonda Ghana is where you get quality heavy-duty equipment. Trucks, bulldozers, excavators, graders, payloaders, and every other thing you will need. Get in touch with Zonda Ghana on 0501 772222 or get to their head office off the Tema Flower Road. Zonda, built in Ghana, building Ghana. Polytank is also bringing us Kickoff. Money is difficult to come by these days. That's why if you are buying a water tank, be sure to buy the best. There's only one name on the market. It's Polytank. That's all we know. Over 30 years of experience and is trusted by several generations. Go for guaranteed quality. Choose Polytank. Polytank near Papa Nunier. All right, let's get into Kickoff. The latest from the world of sport. Bernard Abeku is in the building. All right, let's get into Kickoff now.
This is the City Breakfast Show, the city's biggest conversation.
Salah. And the ball delivered, and here's Jones!
It was the first major test by Liverpool at Anfield thanks to Mohamed Salah and Curtis Jones to give the Reds all 3 points against Chelsea. There's more PL stuff coming up, plus we'll take you to Togo because it's 4 points from a possible 6 for Ghana's Black Satellites in the ongoing WAFU Zone B qualifiers.
It was okay. Difficult first half. I think Niger did really well in their low block. In the back four plus two holding midfielders.
More from Desmond Ofer, who's the head coach of Ghana's under-20 side, and then in Formula One.
It was all about Max with the sprint. Lando took the pole. Lando's got a penalty. Carlos was the lead Ferrari on the grid. But Sunday is all about Charles. Another masterclass from Ferrari's favourite son. Charles Leclerc wins the US Grand Prix.
An impressive win from Charles Leclerc in the United States Grand Prix. All of that's coming up right here on Kickoff. Thanks to Shell, Lachelle, Zonda GH, and Polytank Ghana, Papa Nunier. I am Bernard Baker. On to the details now, and we start off from Togo. It's the WAFU Zone B qualifiers. Big result for Ghana because the Black Satellites grabbed their first win of the championship with a win over Niger. That's one of first side. Picked up all 3 points thanks to Aziz Misbah's second half brace, going on to win 2-0. That's in favor of Ghana. The result leaves Ghana on 4 points after 2 games played, and will now face Togo in the final stage of the competition as the final group game on Wednesday. Here's the head coach Desmond Ofer and what he thinks about the team's performance.
It was okay. Difficult first half. I think Niger did really well in their low block in the back four plus two holding midfielders. So we didn't have enough space and it was quite difficult. By the second half, we changed a bit of shape and we found the spaces, and I think it's well deserved today. Yeah. I think we did a couple of changes, but that's not the only solution. I think, like I said, every tournament is different. It took us a while to get our rhythm, and I think now, hopefully, we can build on it towards the rest of the tournament, yes.
The Black Satellite are hoping to qualify for the Under-20 AFCON, which will be played next year. To the Ghana Premier League now. Results from the weekend in the League of Our Roots. Asante Kotoko extended the unbeaten streak in the league with a 1-0 win over defending champions FC Samatex at the Linkley Sports Stadium. Striker Albert Amwa was the hero of the day for the Porcupine Warriors. Here's Dr. Prosper Nate Ogo.
Very excited because today you can see there's an upgrade in our performance. They played better than previous games. We look more committed. We look more hungry to score more goals. So it's good for the team. Very effective. I think you saw it. That did not give Samatex the opportunity to play their normal game that they used to play. We were able to cut them from the flanks.
Dr. Prosper Nate Gomez, the head coach of Kumasi Asante Kotoko Media Mercy, secured a Hartford 1-0 victory over Nations FC thanks to a first-half strike from Osa Tete. Brooklyn Chelsea extended their unbeaten run in the league season with a commanding 3-1 victory over relegation-threatened Legon Cities at the Golden City Park. Dreams FC and Hartlefolk played out a goalless draw at the Tuba AstroTurf. The draw leaves Hartlefolk in 9th place on the table, whilst Dreams FC remains stuck in the relegation zone. Here's Accra Fox head coach Abubakar Ouattara.
First half we didn't come to play badly, but unfortunately we lose some passes and there's some 1, 2, 3 we didn't do well. But in the second half we are starting attacking, but unfortunately we didn't create more chances to score. But I think I can't say I'm happy or I'm not happy. It's 50-50. But we can take 1 point is better than 0.
So it's a 50-50 thing for Abubakar Ouattara. He's the head coach of Accra Hartlefolk. The BBN Gold Stars racked up a 2-0 win against Adriana FC at the Danks Park to maintain their lead on the league standings. Ronald Frimpong and Samuel Atakumi on the score sheet for Gold Stars. A quick look at the table. BBN Gold Stars on top with 15 points. Kotoko second with 14 points and Mediama third with 14 points. At the bottom, as Young Apostles have 6 points, battling it out of relegation. Dreams FC 4 points and Legon Cities having just the point. Let's do some swimming now in the new season of the Ghana Swim League kicked off over the weekend at the Bottom Sports Complex with Meet 1. Top swimming teams from across the country have come together to compete for supremacy over the next few months in season 3. Here's the president of the Ghana Swimming Association, Delphine Akwe.
This is the Swim League, Ghana Swim League Season 3. For today, we have about 13 clubs participating with over 140 swimmers competing. This is a record-breaking run for us. I mean, we've had competitions over and over, but for this season, it seems we've come back with a bang because it seems most people are now hearing of us. Clubs are joining, and it shows the interest people are getting into the sport. We are happy because it seems Ghana Swimming has come a long way. And for now, we are seeing the results of what we've done so far.
Delphine Akwe is the president of the Ghana Swimming Association. Now to the greatest league on planet Earth, the English Premier League. And starting off from Anfield, Liverpool returned to the top of the league with a 2-1 victory over Chelsea at Anfield as manager and his slot's outstanding starts continued. Mohamed Salah and Curtis Jones getting the goals for Liverpool. Chelsea's equalizer came from Nicholas Jackson. The Dutchman is now the first Liverpool boss to win 10 of his first 11 games. Let's hear from Liverpool's Curtis Jones.
Well, yeah, it's the most important thing. You've said it then. We came away with a win. It's the most important thing. Was involved in a lot as well, as you said, but I'm happy that we won.
So tell us about the block from Cole Palmer. Did you think you're in trouble? Like as he shapes the shoot, it looks like he's getting it away.
We know how important he is for the whole their team. How many goals he scores and then his assist as well. So I had it in my mind to, if I can keep Cole quiet, then it's a huge part of their game gone. But yeah, I see in the air he was a little bit free and I knew it was on me. So I done a little bit of a slide and he still had the ball. and then I thought I put my foot there and we just hope, and I blocked the shot. So he didn't score an assist, so I'm happy.
Well, Chelsea's boss Enzo Maresca says he's proud of his side despite their loss to Liverpool.
Absolutely. I think we don't like to lose. We don't like to drop points, but if you have to choose the way, probably this is the way that you want to drop points. Came here in this stadium against this team. I really like the performance of the team. I think probably we deserve something more, but anyway, the performance was good.
At the Molyneux, John Stones' dramatic stoppage time winner kept Manchester City in touch with Premier League leaders Liverpool as the champions beat battling Wolves by 2-1.
Yeah, no, it was a tough game. These moments don't come often for us. We've come up with a few over the years, and today was one of them. I've got to give credit to Wolves, how they stopped us from creating chances, made it difficult for us in the final third, and we're quite direct. And we had to be on our best performance at the back, especially with the transitions, with the counter attacks. And
elsewhere, Bournemouth ended a 10-man Arsenal's unbeaten start to the season after William Saliba was shown the first red card of his career at the Vitality Stadium. Manchester United came from behind to secure a crucial victory over Brentford at Old Trafford and ease the pressure on manager Erik ten Hag, Alejandro Garnacho and Rasmus Højlund with the goals for Manchester United. A spectacular second-half display saw Spurs run out dominant winners over local rivals West Ham in the North London derby, and of course there's Leicester City who staged a stunning comeback from 2 goals down as Jordan Ayew's stoppage time winner gave them a dramatic victory against Southampton at the St Mary's Stadium. There's one more game later tonight at the City ground at 7 p.m. as Nottingham Forest will take on Crystal Palace. Let's end with some Formula One, and Charles Leclerc impressively won the United States Grand Prix in a surprisingly dominant 1-2 for Ferrari as Lando Norris lost a crucial third place to title rival Max Verstappen after being penalized for a late overtake on his Formula One title rival. That's the latest from the world of sport. And there's more sports when you log on to citysportsonline.com. Many thanks to Shell, Zonda GH, and Polytank Ghana, Papa Nunez. We are back later at 5 p.m. with Sports Flash. I am Bernard Abeko. Sports is live. Get involved.
Yo, I did tire for Abu Chef. See, everything I do, Abu won't do some. Last year, I bought a cattle farm in Yanton. I see he go buy a farm next to mine. I marry Fauzia. No, he marries Fauzia's sister. I buy my motorbike. I see no, he go buy motorbike too.
But you don't see since you buy your bike, he has bought 4 motorbikes, which have all broken down. He don't maintain bikes at all.
His problem be say he dey put wrong lubricant.
So yes, Odadia Iman Odatilamte, happy birthday to you. Coming in from a lot of your friends. Happy birthday to Abena Adoma Sika of the Consulting Department and Daniel Tete of the Audit and Assurance Department of Deloitte. From Daniel Kojo Owusu, who's the country managing partner of Deloitte. Happy birthday to Ambassador Cabral Blay Amihir, board chairman of Gridco, extending warm wishes and blessings of the Almighty to you. And to Mr. Emmanuel Anang Yemu of Tabibiano Mosque, from the children Sandra, Godfred and David Annan. Also help me celebrate Adjoa Safu Mante. You worship at Kwabinya ICGC Acts Temple, and you work at the Senya Breku District Assembly as HR manager. You are a blessing to the family, and we're wishing you a happy birthday from Kingsley Jr. and the Mante family. Good morning, Bernard. Please help me celebrate my sister who turned 40 yesterday, Amma Akotun Kroma Yeboa, aka Amma Asafweje of Standard Chartered Bank Head Office, our October Black Beauty. May this milestone celebration move you a step further into greater heights in your endeavors. Experience God's love in everything you do. From your sister Efwa Sewa of Scancom PLC and the entire family, much love to Amma Akotun Kroma. 7:40. So this morning, I am going to be bringing you many interviews, hopefully, because there are many angles to what is fast developing into a constitutional crisis for Ghana. We have a speaker who has declared 4 parliamentary seats vacant because 4 members of parliament have had their status changed by deciding to either go independent or to run on a political party's ticket. And the speaker on Thursday invoked Article 97 of the Constitution and standing orders to declare their seats vacant. The majority leader went to the Supreme Court ex-party. That means that the other side was not aware. This is on Friday. And secured what is called an interlocutory stay of execution, or stay of execution, if you like, stay of execution of the speaker's ruling. Now, there are many angles to this. Now, one school of thought is that the speaker is bound by the ruling of the Supreme Court because Parliament makes laws. The judiciary interprets the law. And so the judiciary, in granting that stay of execution, essentially have bound Parliament to that judgment. And that if the speaker refuses to comply with the judiciary's judgment, it would amount to a contempt of the Supreme Court. Okay. Now, the other view is that you cannot have one arm of government, like the judiciary, impose its will on another arm, which is the legislature, because there's something called parliamentary autonomy. And in as much as the judiciary can hold somebody to contempt, the legislature can also hold somebody in contempt of Parliament. So, and again, some people feel that you don't have, you only have a stay of execution of a court order, and that a ruling of a Speaker of Parliament is not a court order. So you do not have it doesn't make sense to them for that type of stay of execution to be granted. So this morning, we are trying to work our way around the legal labyrinths of this particular issue within the confines of a constitutional democracy like Ghana. The Constitution is the supreme law of the land. But how do we interpret it to make sense of a very murky situation? And by the way, this Parliament has had a very troubled history. Even the first day of it coming into life was marred in a lot of controversy, where one side went to sit at another side. There was almost fisticuffs. Even the election of the Speaker itself was marred in controversy, with blows being exchanged. The military had to come in. Some people said that was an attack on our democracy. We've gone through all of this. Now, this is their last, I don't want to call it sitting, or their last leg of whatever they do. And now we have this very serious interpose. How do we resolve it? How do we ensure that this Parliament does not or this situation does not result in a breakdown of our democracy completely. Because, by the way, our democracy is if you like, it's based on our constitution, which grants which spells out three arms: the executive, the president and his cabinet, and ministers and the appointees of the government who have executive power. Then the legislature, who make laws, the representatives of the people, 275 of them. Then the judiciary, who are appointed by a combination of the executive and the legislature through an approval process. So now that the judiciary is saying that the speaker's ruling should be stayed, is the speaker bound to abide by the Supreme Court's ruling? Or can he say, you judiciary, you are in contempt of us because you are trying to interfere in what to do? Because, by the way, there are provisions around some level of immunity for MPs where, in fact, if you want to arrest an MP or if you want an MP to attend upon a court, the speaker has to give permission. So that also elevates the speaker to a certain position. All right. And we also have this whole ranking: the president, the vice, the speaker, the CJ. They are the top four. So is it in order of precedence in terms of who is more powerful? And the other point we need to remember is that in the past few months, there have been many instances of judiciary, legislative interaction. So, for example,
yes.
So Supreme Court can say a lower court erred. A Supreme Court panel can review what its own policies did. So it stands to reason that, being the highest court of the land and interpreter of the Constitution, if the president acts unconstitutionally or the parliament acts unconstitutionally, the Supreme Court has a right to declare it so.
Yes, but that's what I'm saying, that is what we have here.
Mm-hmm.
And I would not say it's a unique situation in Ghana, but the conundrum or the problem is we've had too many instances where we've had.
So let me take a quick interview on this. I'll come back to you. So, as I said, a lot of interviews. Mahama Yarga is MP for Boku Central, one of the leading legal lights of the NDC. We just want to understand the position of the NDC legally first, and then tactically what they are doing next. So, Honorable Yarga, thanks for joining us, and I know you are very busy this morning, so let's just make it straight to the point. So, on Thursday, we know that Speaker Bagbin made a ruling. Is it my understanding that for the NDC, that is the ruling that stands, that despite the stay of execution that the Supreme Court declared or issued on Friday, the minority's understanding, or the NDC's understanding, is that Speaker Bagbin's ruling stands? Is that how I should understand the position of the NDC in Parliament?
Yes, that's our position, that we will act according to Speaker Bagbin's communication until he communicates otherwise. So if what is said to have been done by the Supreme Court is served on Speaker Bagbin, and he comes to Parliament and communicates anything to us on the basis of what he has heard from the Supreme Court, we will act according to the communication given to us by Speaker Bagbin, because we are in a coordinate branch of government, which is the legislature. We listen to our Speaker. We don't listen to the Supreme Court. And in any case, we, the minority, were not, the minority at that time and now the majority, were not part of the proceedings, were not a party to the action in court, and the court hasn't spoken directly to us.
Will your view have been different if this was served on notice? So maybe on Friday they went and then you were served, and then on Monday you were to go to court to hear for the stay. Would this have been a different posture? Are you ignoring the Supreme Court because they went ex parte?
We are ignoring the Supreme Court because we are a coordinate branch of government. And the Constitution is very clear that the Supreme Court should not interfere in our work. We are protected by the Constitution. If you look at Article 115 of the Constitution and Article 122 of the Constitution, it protects the integrity of our proceedings. and says that those proceedings should not be impeached or questioned in any court, including the Supreme Court. So it surprises us that the Supreme Court, which is supposed to be the body that understands the Constitution better than anybody, will see Article 115 and still go ahead to impeach our proceedings without even so much as, listening to the side of the Speaker and Parliament. So we would have taken the same position even if they had invited her. But if they had invited the Speaker, perhaps they would have benefited from all the arguments that today we are making. And many senior lawyers are making the same argument that, look, this is not a matter that even should have been entertained by the Supreme Court. This is a matter that should have started at the High Court, because Article 99 is very clear on the subject, that when it comes to a question of whether or not a seat is vacant, that is a matter that is reserved for the High Court. If there is some misunderstanding, the High Court can then stay proceedings and refer it to the Supreme Court. Then the Supreme Court can give the High Court guidance as to how to go about the matter. This is the structure of the Constitution. And we expect the Supreme Court to understand this. Maybe if it had said, look, let's not be in a hurry. Oh, today is Friday, there is Saturday, there is Sunday, there is Monday. The Parliament will not sit until Tuesday. So let's just invite them. Let's hear the urgency. What's so urgent about this matter that you are forcing us to act within 24 hours of your filing of an application? They would have benefited from superior wisdom. They have to be guided by lawyers. If you go and listen to one lawyer, you can easily be misled. And that is what has happened. They've been misled.
Some are saying that if the Speaker chooses to disregard or not abide by the Supreme Court's ruling, he essentially will be held accountable for what is called a high crime, quoting Article 2, 3 and Article 4, that he will be in contempt of the court. Do you understand this? Do you agree with this?
I think that we should wait and hear from the Speaker on Tuesday before we start speculating and saying all these things. Like I said, to tell you the truth, I have a problem with the understanding of some of these judges of our Constitution. If provisions as basic and clear as Article 97, 99, 115, 122, 130, if provisions as basic and as clear as these ones can be so gravely misconstrued by these judges, I don't know what they understand by the provisions that trigger high crime. I don't know whether they understand the provisions that relate to high crime. And of course, they haven't said this. You are the one saying that some have said. So I'm not sure any judge has said.
No, I'm just referring. Yeah, I'm just referring to.
It's just analysts. So I'm saying that I don't know if these analysts understand what really a high crime is. That I disagree. A coordinate branch of government disagrees with another coordinate branch of government that it is supposed to exercise supervisory authority on. People have forgotten that the legislature in some jurisdictions is actually the most supreme. In the UK, the legislature is almost sovereign. In Ghana, we tampered with the sovereignty of the legislature and limited it. So people should not forget that it is actually Parliament that has supervisory jurisdiction over the two other coordinate branches of government. That is why the powers of impeachment of both the legislature and the judiciary is given to Parliament. So we are supposed to be supervising them as well, in the same way that they're also supposed to be interpreting and enforcing the Constitution. So we are co-equals and coordinate branches of government. We are not a hierarchy where the Supreme Court is superior to the executive, to the legislature. No.
Okay.
We are not.
Finally, some people are saying we could be in a position where the Speaker can also say the judges are in contempt of Parliament. So that if the court says that the Speaker is in contempt of court, Parliament could also say that the court is in contempt of Parliament, and we have a double contempt leading to a constitutional crisis. Now, as a constitutional lawyer yourself, how do we avoid this? I mean, you've explained the NDC position and you've told me what you would do tactically, but now I'm asking you a general question around this very possible constitutional crisis that if both sides, and by that I mean if the Speaker and the Supreme Court decide to hold entrenched positions, there will be obviously a constitutional crisis. How do we wriggle our way out of that?
We are a human society trying to regulate ourselves by writing down how we should regulate ourselves. We've written it down in the Constitution. Though you and I didn't write it, those who crafted it wrote it, and then we have accepted it and feel bound by it. The provisions in Article 122 on contempt of Parliament are very, very clear. That if you do anything that affronts the dignity of Parliament, and the Speaker, who is the one to interpret the rules of Parliament, and such conduct concludes that it is contempt, then it is contempt. The same way, the courts, by practice, have also developed contempt powers, where they feel that if you challenge their authority and you undermine their integrity and image, the same way the Constitution says they should also not undermine the integrity and image of the legislature, then you are in contempt. So both institutions have contempt power. But in the case of Parliament, it is expressly written into the Constitution as a protection for Parliament. If that arises, then I believe that it provides an excellent opportunity for the institutions, the coordinate institutions, to talk to each other. And when they talk to each other, they will resolve it, and they will learn from it, and tomorrow they will all behave properly. And let me conclude on this issue. It's happened before. In the U.S., in the case of Baker and Carr in 1968, the U.S. Supreme Court learned its lessons and said, look, you know what? Don't get involved in politics. Don't get involved in matters that are the preserve of the coordinate branches of government. When a matter can lead to controversies like that, where one branch of government will say one thing and another branch of government will say another thing, please, Supreme Court, stay away from it. And that is what is called the political question doctrine. And this is a classic case of a political question that the Supreme Court should have just stayed away. Because if you read the proceedings of Parliament, of the Supreme Court, and the kind of things that the judges said, when you go to the section where it says by court, you see them saying, that there will be chaos in the country, that there will be stalling of government business in Parliament, that the budget may not be passed, that the NDC caucus will repeal certain laws, and that they intend to take certain actions to reconstitute the committees. These are all political matters that the Supreme Court should not be interested in. If the NDC in Parliament does that, and so what? Is that your business? Is that our business as a court? It's not our business. Go and deal with it as a political matter. If the electorate votes and then NDC is the majority in the Parliament, can we, the Supreme Court, sit in the court and start saying that no, don't block the minority government from passing a budget, don't reverse legislation, don't constitute committees? These are all political matters that are governed by the rules of Parliament. So in Baker and Carr, the Supreme Court said, look, Supreme Court, stay away from these matters, because these are matters reserved for the politicians who constitute the executive and constitute the legislature. So we don't want to get involved. We will only get involved if there is a serious issue about what the words of the Constitution actually mean. We will just tell you what we think is the meaning and leave you. And then it's your responsibility to do whatever you want to do with our understanding of the meaning. That is all. But to jump in and start saying the things that the courts were saying, as if you are a branch of the MPP. Why are you foot soldiers? Why are you worried about whether the MPP is able to protect the e-levy law in Parliament? Why are you worried about whether or not they pass the budget? You've been watching CNN. Sometimes Congress cannot pass budget. The Supreme Court is sitting and watching them. How they pass the budget, they talk to each other. And finally, they come to a compromise. Then they remove the provisions that the Republicans don't want, or add the arrangements that the Republicans want captured. Then the Republicans come on board and they pass it for them. These are pure political matters that the Supreme Court shouldn't get involved in.
All right. I'll leave you now. Thank you, Honorable Ayarga. This is a fluid development. We'll talk again, I'm sure. Tomorrow will be an interesting day. Mahama Ayarga is MP for Baku Central, also one of the leading NDC lawyers on this matter. We'll bring you tech and social media trends. We'll go to the other side and also speak to a legal mind from there as we carefully delineate the key issues in this very interesting controversy. This is the City Breakfast Show. Oh Lord. Now, Tech and Social Media Trends is next, brought to us by First Bank. You can now send money across the sub-region to our neighbors in Gambia, Guinea, Liberia, Nigeria, and Sierra Leone with no hassle. It's called the Pan-African Payment and Settlement System. And this is possible because First Bank Ghana is making it happen. Reach us on 059 69 21 921. That's 059 69 21 921. First Bank, you first. Tech and Social Media Trends is also brought to us by Telecel. Get ready for more money and even more winners. The Telecel More Money promo just got extended for 2 extra months, giving you even more chances to win big. We are now rewarding 4 lucky winners with 30,000 CDs every week and 1 million CDs. Grand prize still ready and up for grabs. Keep buying data or airtime to reload data on your fixed broadband to get closer to becoming a millionaire. The more you reload, the better your chances of winning. Don't miss out. Dial star 500 hash, send win to 500 or visit the Telecel Play app to opt in for free. Terms and conditions apply. Promo regulated by NLA on the Caritas Lottery platform. Nathan Obodai Kwao is wearing a mask today.
Yeah. I have a bit of the sniffles.
You want to sift out all the negativity in the system. So it's good. Just block your nose. What is trending this morning?
Well, you can a lot of sports and football related themes in the trends after a weekend of Premier League football following the resumption of hostilities in the league. Top of the trends, Liverpool. Beat Chelsea by 2-1. They called it Arne Slot's first big test and he's passed it.
Pass all. Easy.
So Liverpool and Chelsea trending.
Yes.
Sancho is also trending, of course, from the game. He was hooked very early.
First half.
Yeah.
After first half.
They
brought Pedro Neto at Ankosishui.
Yes. Sanchez, the goalkeeper, also trending.
Charlie, but why is Phobia not trending? Charlie, 4th draw.
But so why should they trend? Because they've drawn 4 times.
We have to do something about the team. There's something not happening well.
The way coach vex.
Charlie, what is going on?
So all of that trending, and then in terms of the mainline items, Salifou Amakon is trending for comments he passed during a Sunday service. And all of that. It looks like that matter is not dying out anytime soon. And it shouldn't really. We want to see it go to its logical conclusion.
Yeah.
If you go to the
annoyed people.
Yeah, I think
really did.
You know?
Why really did like that?
Really did.
In a time when people are so sad about this.
You basically want to establish a hierarchy of sin.
You call it silence is golden sometimes. You need to know when to speak because this is not going to help anybody.
Anyway, NSMQ 2024 also trending is happening.
I saw a headline It said Apam Adisco.
Oh! Is that what happened?
Yes. Adisco lost to Apam.
They will not know peace.
And then Suesco also kicked out the Ashanti Regional Champions Kumasi High.
Oh.
So
the thing
Prempeh, you should be very afraid.
What's happening with Prempeh? Are we out?
No, just be afraid. Because people have meant.
But you are not afraid.
Oh no, we will not. We have nothing to lose.
Presec have made it to the next stage as they always do.
But Prempeh has made it to the next stage as well.
I think you are yet to do yours.
No, we have.
Who did you beat?
We are in the quarterfinal.
No, you are yet.
We have with Kwaboche next.
Yeah.
It go be.
We are with Kwaboche next.
I'll be praying for you
on their home turf.
It will be nice.
Yeah, because this is happening in Cape Coast, right?
Oh, it's in Cape Coast?
Yes.
They have pressure there.
So Apam Adisco.
Anyway, to some tech news, and a very interesting study was done by Madrid's IE University.
Yeah.
Now, they said a vast majority of Europeans support the use of AI for police and military operations.
Huh?
Now, they say that 75% of the respondents support the use of AI, such as facial recognition and biometric data by the police and military for surveillance purposes. Now, the extent of support is perhaps surprising, as Europe holds some of the strictest data privacy regulations in the world. So,
AI in military.
Yeah. So they find it really interesting that in Europe, where there's a lot of control in terms of AI use and invasion of privacy and all, on the legal side, you have citizens saying that, well, if that is introduced into regular police and military operations, they would not have an issue
And this
that.
is something that the West criticizes China heavily for.
I'm even surprised.
See?
And their own citizens are interested in it.
You see?
This is our wealth.
They criticize China brutally for this.
Anyway, so if you dig further, the level of support for the use of AI in public service tasks such as traffic optimization recorded 79%. So citizens would be happy if AI did things like traffic optimization.
Traffic optimization, they are support.
Yes. However, when it comes to sensitive matters like parole decisions, most Europeans oppose the use of AI.
I agree with that too. That was second social media trends with Nathan Kwao. project you've been planning for some time and you need funds to pursue your dreams, Zenith Bank has got you covered with a loan of up to 250,000 cedis. We're always looking out for your financial well-being. Open a salary account today and access a loan of up to 250,000 cedis from Zenith Bank. Visit any of our branches to open a Zenith salary account today. Zenith Bank, in your best interest. If you're going through the pain of sore throat, Nathan, nasal congestion, you need quick relief.
Yes.
This one
Lozati lozenges.
I need Lozati.
100% natural and refreshing throat lozenge with 7 pleasant tasting flavors, including honey and lemon, ginger. You need peppermint in your life, orange and cola. And there's even 2 sugar-free formulations, propolis and strawberry, for those managing their sugar levels. So Lozati lozenges for the quick relief of your need. For the quick relief of your throat issues, call 0302-324-595 or contact Unicom Chemist Limited. Lozati, 30 seconds of instant relief from sore throats. Go to Ashesi today to launch your career, start your own business, or embark on advanced studies after school within 6 months of graduation. From Accra to Nairobi, from London to New York, Ashesi graduates are noticed and they are leading successful careers everywhere. Visit esi.edu.g-h to learn more about the Ashesi advantage. Remember, admissions are ongoing. And imagine the unexpected happening to you and you leaving behind your loved one, spouse, or family member you cherish the most. Death is inevitable. When it occurs, will your loved ones be protected? SNIT comes in to protect them. If you're a contributor to the scheme, the SNIT scheme has an inbuilt life policy that pays your loved ones a lump sum when you are no more. Survivors benefit, or survivors of SNIT members qualify for survivors benefit. With SNIT, members are assured that in the unfortunate event that a person passes on, their nominated dependent would be paid a lump sum. So call SNIT on 0302-611-622 or on socials at SNIT Ghana.
Now, if you're not a customer of Enterprise, then you are missing out, because Enterprise's new loyalty program, the Enterprise Advantage Points, is out there. Visit my.enterprisegroup.net.gh or download the Enterprise Advantage app to get started. Now, if you are purchasing or you are buying, renewing policies and doing a lot more, you get to earn points, and those points can give you fantastic rewards. Enterprise Advantage Points, because nothing you do should be pointless. Enterprise is your advantage. And Lucozade is here. It's in a new 330 ml can with the same energy that you've known for years. So whatever it is you're doing, go ahead and grab a Lucozade sleek can and discover the same unbeatable energy with every sip. Lucozade, restore your energy, and this ad is FDA approved. Now, if you are ready to make your retirement dreams a reality, then you need to speak to Lakeside Estates and their exclusive retirement home offering, because these homes are built, wonderful places, 2, 3, 4 bedrooms, designed in a serene environment where there are great facilities. Remember, Lakeside Estates is a CIMG Real Estate Company of the Year, and they want to give you a quality place to live in your golden years. Call them on 020-477-5042. Lakeside Hills, live your best life. Now, have you thought about what true convenience means? Well, let's keep it simple. Convenience is finding easy solutions to your everyday problems. That's why MTN and MedPharma are combining their forces to give you M-Care. It's convenient health care for everyone. With the gold and silver package, you get to choose between 10 CDs or 161 CDs per month and enjoy access to a doctor anytime, anywhere, with an efficient e-pharmacy with medication delivered to your doorstep. Download the MedPharma app to sign up to the silver or gold package today.
Now, the interesting thing is that for every article you see, in terms of, I'm not referring to article in the Constitution. I'm referring to article written. For every article you see criticizing the
Supreme Court,
the speaker, there's also an article defending.
Yeah.
So I'll give you a couple of examples.
Okay.
Now, there's one article that I have read over the weekend.
Okay.
Written by Joseph Kweku Asamoah, PhD, and it's titled "Review of Supreme Court's Ruling to Hold the Ruling of the Speaker of Parliament. Does it amount to an unconstitutional usurpation of parliamentary powers by the Supreme Court of Ghana?"
Yeah.
Now, that's well written. Then there's another well written one
by Justice Abdullahi.
No, before that, lawyer Idi Muhyiddin, open letter to the Speaker of Parliament on the current brouhaha in Parliament over his declaration of 4 seats vacant. So essentially, the Joseph Kweku Asamoah article is basically saying that he thinks the Supreme Court did an overreach by declaring or trying to influence the Speaker's ruling, because they believe that the Supreme Court, even though it has the power to interpret the Constitution, overstepped its constitutional bounds. But that's his view.
Yeah, so there are those who have even said, did the Speaker make a ruling or simply stated what had come to pass?
Good, but then there are also people say, do you make a ruling or whatever he did on a basis of a statement or a motion? So there's all kinds of things. So don't forget how we got here. Initially, Haruna Idrisu had wanted to table a motion which would have been debated, but then a statement was rather put forward by the minority leader, which the Speaker then said he would give himself 2 days to come up with a judgment on. So I interviewed Apenyemaka and we discussed all of this. So this article is basically saying that he feels the Supreme Court overstepped their bounds. But this article is basically saying no, that the Constitution is the supreme law of the land. And if you look at chapter 1, and I'll read portions of that, a person who alleges that an enactment or anything contained or done under the authority of this or of any enactment or any act of omission or commission is inconsistent with or is in contravention of a provision of this Constitution may bring an action to the Supreme Court for declaration to that effect. Now it says, the Supreme Court shall, for the purpose of declaration under this clause, make such orders and give such directions as it may consider appropriate for giving effect or enabling effect to be given to a declaration made. Now, this is the other part. Any person or groups of persons to whom an order or direction is addressed to under clause 2 of this article by the Supreme Court shall duly obey and carry out terms of the order. Now, 4 is where the issue is. Failure to carry out terms of an order or direction made or given under clause 2 of this article constitute a high crime under this Constitution. So basically, the Supreme Court Constitution is in chapter 1, and the Supreme Court is given the right and the power to interpret. Now you go to 122, where Parliament also cannot be obstructed in their line of duty, right? An act of a commission or an act of or omission which obstructs or impedes Parliament in the performance of its functions, or which obstructs or impedes a member of officer of Parliament in the discharge of their duties, or affronts the dignity of Parliament, or which tends either directly or indirectly to produce that result is contempt of Parliament. So you have essentially 2 powers guaranteed: the Supreme Court to interpret the Constitution, Parliament to carry out its functions. Now you're in a situation where those powers are clashing. Let's speak to MP for Ebuakwa South and a lawyer, Atachia, on first his understanding of where we are with the matters, and then his own personal view on how to resolve this potential constitutional crisis. Honorable Atachia, good morning. Thanks for joining us.
Good morning.
Wonderful. So we in the media initially were even confused as to what to call each side, because what the chronology of events was that on Thursday, the Speaker made a declaration which essentially said that 4 seats were vacant, and therefore by calculation, the NDCs had a majority. Then on Friday, the MPP went to court in Parliament, essentially got the Supreme Court to stay execution of what the Speaker had done. So as we sit today, we don't really know what stands, because the NDC is telling us that on Tuesday, when they go to Parliament, they are the majority, and that they will listen to what the Speaker says to them. The Speaker hasn't told us what he will do on Tuesday. Now, what do you make of all this? Where are we? Is what the Supreme Court is saying what holds, or does the Speaker have the latitude to make a decision as to what direction to go?
Yes, thank you very much. I'm sure a lot of people are coming to terms with the fact that we are under a constitutional rule. We are not practicing what they call legislative supremacy, where Parliament is supreme. So both the executive and the legislature function by the Constitution. In fact, the very space that the Speaker occupies is clearly delineated in the Constitution. So it is a Constitution that gave the Speaker the power to do whatever he is attempting to do. Now, if the decision of the Speaker violates the Constitution, or somebody is gone to court to say that, look, there is a necessity to interpret the Constitution, and the Speaker is not a judge to do so, the Speaker presides over the deliberations of the Parliament. How can somebody say that decision from the Supreme Court has a clash with the ruling of the Speaker? In the first instance, a lot of people are thinking through these issues critically. That at a point somebody says is bringing a motion, then that translates into a statement. When you pay regard to outstanding orders, a statement of this nature should be referred to the appropriate committee for investigation and report. Now the Speaker also flouts the standing order and then says that I will give a ruling, and by that ruling, the ruling party becomes a minority. So what is happening is constitutional lawlessness, and some people want to profit from it. And I don't see how anybody will say that, well, I've not gone to the polls. There's no election, but by the fiat of the Speaker, I mean, I have the majority in Parliament. It's a chaotic situation that I believe that is an affront to the legislature.
Fair enough. Now, without going back to all the issues that happened on Thursday, some people feel like what the Speaker did was natural, because according to the Constitution, a seat of a member of Parliament shall be declared vacant by the Speaker under Clause 1B and H and Article 97 of the Constitution, so that if the four make a decision to go and stand for another party or go independent, it is automatic. So the Speaker was only enforcing the law, and that this is within the parliamentary, how shall I say, this is parliamentary issues, administrative parliamentary issues that he's just implementing. So this isn't a constitutional matter that even requires interpretation. What do you say to that?
Who will decide whether it requires interpretation or doesn't require interpretation? Is it not the Supreme Court that will say that you brought to me a very bogus case to interpret? I've dismissed it. You see, when they measure themselves by themselves, according to the scriptures, they are not wise. How can you sit down and say that this does not require interpretation? Because in the information and the evidential support for the so-called Speaker's decision, it's not even certain. The people who say they've crossed carpet, you understand, are they thinking about the elections of December 7th and thereafter, which is to say their desire as to where they will go after the elections, or they are talking about the term of this Parliament? I mean, did you call them?
No, that's fair enough. That's a fair point. The other point, though, people make is that if we are to wait for them to actually go into the next Parliament, then it means that provision about crossing carpet is moot. Because if somebody says, I'm going to run as an independent, even though I'm in NDC, and you're saying that only takes effect when he actually has gone into the election, then what's the point of having the issue about cross carpet? Because he couldn't have cross carpet in the next Parliament, right? I think this was part of the Speaker's ruling, the logic of his ruling, essentially that if we can't enforce it now, then it's a useless provision. This was his view.
You see, that view is warped on the ground that you need to cross carpet during the term that you are serving as a member of Parliament. That is what it is. You read the provision very well. It relates to the election that brought you there. It doesn't relate to a future election. You see, therefore, if you pay regard to Article 97 properly, it relates to matters of the election that ushered you into the chamber as a member of Parliament. And now, let us also be very, very, very cocksure about it. As of now, the individuals who, by the stroke of the pen, have been disabled from functioning as members of Parliament, were they heard? Is there anything that they put forward to the Speaker? Now, Mr. Speaker, this is what we've done, and therefore we invite you to make a determination.
So in essence, the idea of leaving your party, because it says, and permit me, 97G, if he leaves the party of which he was a member at the time of his election to Parliament to join another party,
precisely,
or seeks to remain
of the election.
Hold on, let me finish. I'm just reading it. If he leaves the party of which he was a member at the time of his election to Parliament to join another party, or seeks to remain in Parliament as an independent member, so it makes reference to that Parliament, to remain in that Parliament. Now,
Precisely.
Now hold on. And H, if he was elected a member of parliament as an independent candidate and joins a political party, now this is the contention, that once you have gone to, for example, the independent candidate for Esiama Fomina, he was elected as an independent candidate. In the next election, he will be a parliamentary candidate for the NPP. All right? And he cannot be a parliamentary candidate for the MPP if he has not joined the MPP. Because by the rules of MPP, you can't be a parliamentary candidate for a party if you are not a member of our party. Right? So even though he's an independent member of parliament in this parliament, the fact that he has notified the EC and filed that he's going to be MPP candidate for Fomina for next election, is that not enough to say he has joined? Because your rules as MPP say you cannot be our candidate if you have not joined our party. So he has already triggered it. This is the view of Speaker.
It is warped. It's a non sequitur, because when you look at the fact situation, what are we addressing? Is it the now moment, or what he intends doing and is even triggered it? We should look at it critically. If immediately you bring this kind of interpretation to bear Article 97, you want to say that a member of parliament is robotic and he cannot change his mind concerning what he wants to do in the future. So if you look at the intent of Article 97, it was addressing the now moment and not what somebody might want to do in the future. So right now, you are an independent candidate, and then you said you've crossed carpet.
Yeah, but joining another party.
For what purpose?
No,
for
but
the future.
No, yeah, but the constitution doesn't talk about future. It just says if you join another party. And my question is joining another party not clear that you cannot run for a party if you've not joined it? So my argument is that
for what purpose?
For a future election, but you have joined the party. So the operative word is joining the party, is it not?
Yes, you see, is joining the party is of no consequence to your current situation. If you intend that you will join the party for the next election.
I see. So your view is that the operative word is
which will sit. Yes.
Fair enough. Okay, let's ask about 4 years ago, because people point to what the MPP did with the same Amoako Siama for Fomina when he had declared his intention to go as an independent, and the MPP wrote to Speaker Okwe to say this guy is not a member of our party because by showing his intention to go independent, he has forfeited the membership of the MPP, and Speaker Okwe obliged. All right. So was that also a warped interpretation?
I'm saying that even Speaker Okwe has assumed a role of a Supreme Court, and none of them has the power to do so. And the errors of yesterday should not have significance today. You see, the kind of banter we are having, it tells you that the Supreme Court should interpret whether it is a futuristic intention or it's a now moment. That is why a speaker cannot be an extension of the Supreme Court, with the greatest of respect. So the speaker, if you pay regard to Article 130 of the Constitution, even the courts, whenever there is a situation to interpret the Constitution, they should hold their hands and make a reference to the forum defined by the very Constitution that gave the speaker the space to function as a speaker, to do the interpretation. When you say that the legislature can now do interpretation of the Supreme Court, the Constitution will be sitting.
So you are saying Okwe was wrong in 2020.
Whatever Okwe did, you understand? I'm saying that he couldn't interpret the Constitution. If he was interpreting the Constitution, he was wrong, because he cannot. And let me also warn you about how we believe that, let's go and find something which was yesterday to suit the 9 moments. If Okwe was wrong in interpreting the Constitution, would it be right for Speaker Bagwin to interpret the Constitution? Both of them will be wrong.
Well, I'm not a lawyer, but what we are told, what you lawyers tell us is that if you want to understand something, you lose the statute, legal precedent, or best practice. So there is a space for precedent, right? We are not talking about the past. If somebody has done something, so it's not necessarily like fishing from the past.
You are talking about stare decisis, but let me tell you, the speaker is not bound by the previous decision. He can depart from it. That is what it is.
Fair enough. I'm just saying that. So you see, I'm trying to get people to understand the various aspects. So I'm not really arguing. I just want to understand that if somebody pulls something from the past as legal precedent, which you are saying, you are saying that it can be applied. But if there's contention over its meaning, we can go to Supreme Court to say, is this the right interpretation? That's what you are trying to say.
Of course. I'm saying that both of them, the old speaker and the current one, they can't assume the role of the Constitution in terms of the interpretation of the Constitution. That is what it is. So when you go into this post-mortem of trying to say that, well, Speaker Bagman did it, so that I should also did it. Will two wrongs make one right? I'm telling you, none of them has the power to interpret the Constitution. And this conversation, I'm very glad you understand the issues critically. The conversation we are having is indicative of the fact that, indeed, and in fact, the Supreme Court has something to pronounce on the matter.
Good.
So even when you had the benefit of an information that something has been filed relating to what we're trying to determine, and then also there's an injunction to boot, and then you sit as a speaker and ignore all these issues and come out with this decision. This is not constitutional lawlessness.
Okay, some people say stay of execution from their legal experience is not something you ask a Supreme Court to do. And usually you only stay the decision of a court. The speaker is not a court, right? Speaker made, I don't know what to call it, but it's within a parliamentary space. So for them, it's quite curious that a Supreme Court would grant a stay of execution of what essentially is a parliamentary order. Number one. Number two, they also worry about why this was done ex parte. That if you wanted to really get this properly dealt with, you should have gone on notice. Maybe the Supreme Court would have given both parties the chance today, Monday, because Parliament is coming back on Tuesday, and this was Friday. So that if you wanted to also show that you wanted to give both sides a hearing, both the Speaker and then the people who felt aggrieved, you should have gone on notice instead of going ex parte on Friday to then basically seek to stay what the Speaker has done. What are your thoughts on those two angles?
In the first instance, what the Speaker did, if it violates the Constitution, now what you read to the general public in terms of the interpretative power of the, they can make further orders. You just read it to the whole Ghana to listen. The Supreme Court is not sitting down as an academic chamber that they will not give efficacy to what matters. Now let me ask you this question: what the Speaker did, has it gotten any consequences? Sure, it means that some actions. The decision will bring some consequences. That there is now a majority turned into a minority and the rest of it. Therefore, if anybody said that, the Supreme Court should just fold its arm and not do anything about it, then they don't understand the full import of the powers of the Supreme Court. Because anything that has a consequence and touches on the Constitution, the Supreme Court can act on it. So the very provision you read this morning. If what the Speaker did is useless, why is NDC taking advantage of it? It is unfortunate. It is very, very unfortunate that people want to give this poor interpretation to what has happened in Parliament. What has happened in Parliament has consequences. And it is something that another party is taking the benefit. If it is just brutal filming, why are they running after it? That they are very excited. The Aflagbara is also excited about it. That look, now we have the majority. We are going to even overturn the E-levy and the rest of the rantings that are going on. So you think if it is a zero, decision, a decision of void consequences, people will be running after it. So let's get another.
What about the ex-parte part of my question? The fact that
it is part of the justice delivery system. In emergencies, you can always go ex-parte because you know the process of getting somebody said. It's a very difficult process. If you didn't find a person, then your case will be in a mess. So you can go ex-parte, and then the one who is affected by the decision of the ex-parte ruling or order can come back to the court to set it aside. Or they can order you to come after some time on notice and serve the person so that there will not be anything like a fluid situation where people will not have remedy. So, because of the pleasure of NDC, Ex-party applications are not important, and they should really.
So, as you rightly pointed out, I read out Chapter 1, Article 1, 2, and I did 2, 3, and 4, which talks about the supremacy of the Constitution and the Supreme Court being the appropriate body to interpret this. But some people also point to Article 122, where Parliament also should not be obstructed or impeded in the performance of its functions. Now, if Speaker Bagbin tomorrow morning construes what he did on Thursday as performance of his function and sees what the Supreme Court did on Friday as an attempt to impede his work, can we not be in a difficult position? Because from what I read earlier from Chapter 1, if the Speaker fails to carry out what Parliament did, what the Supreme Court put out, he could be in contempt of the court, right? But some are pointing out to 122 that, well, he could also say, I am performing my role as Speaker for Parliament, and the court should not impede us. So then we would have two types of contempt. He could even say, well, we are writing to the President to cite the court for trying to contempt Parliament, right? It may sound absurd, but it's a possibility, is it not? And if that happens, where do we go?
Well, if you look at Article 122, where is it you are trying to impede the work of Parliament? Where is it written that Parliament should be an extension of the Supreme Court and interpret the Constitution? So when a speaker is being lawless, you say that somebody is trying to obstruct him in the performance of his duty. I mean, do we understand what we are saying? That we have what, because of Article 122, we have what we call legislative interpretation of the Constitution. Is the legislature given any power to interpret the Constitution? And do we have legislative supremacy under this Constitution, or we have constitutional supremacy that the Constitution even determines the powers of the President, the executive? So why would anybody say that, oh, now what the Speaker does is sacrosanct? It can't be questioned by the Supreme Court. That is an absurdity of the highest order.
Now, Mr. Atachan, this Parliament has had at least 2 or 3 instances where things done in Parliament have gone to the Supreme Court. So, for example, on the matter of whether a Speaker sitting, a Deputy Speaker sitting can vote, I remember it became a Supreme Court matter. LGBTQ transmission of the bill to President has also gone to the Supreme Court, and now we have this. As an experienced legislator, is this good for our democracy or is it worrying?
It's very good for our democracy. That is why there will always be issues and tussles relating to meaning and understanding of the Constitution. And the very Constitution which gave the Speaker the space to sit where we are sitting, and all the members of Parliament, they didn't come there because of their good looks. They came there on the strength of the Constitution. The Constitution giving space that you should go for a parliamentary election. And when you succeed and the EC declares you as the winner, then you come to the Parliament and you are sworn in. So what we are doing is a constitutional arrangement. And we should respect the Constitution. So if there is a misunderstanding as to whether somebody can vote and is a member of Parliament and a second deputy speaker, whatever, who should interpret that? I told you something in the Bible. I can't find the verse. But it says that when they measure themselves by themselves, they are not wise. If the legislature is now in the Supreme Court and is doing stuff and thinking that, okay, I will sanction the rightness of my own actions. So what is the meaning of, constitutional democracy? So where is the Constitution in this matter?
But
so
Honorable, to the extent that almost everything you do in that Parliament is guided by standing orders and must be constitutional, we could get to a point where almost every action will be legislated, will be taken to court. Could be, right? Because we've also been told in the past that Parliament is also a master of its own procedures. So it can adopt conventions and procedures to the extent that they feel that those procedures help it to come up with their functions. But if we are to go on the tangent of this constitutionality, and of course, I'm not against constitutionality, does that not reduce the ability of Parliament to function, where almost every action will be hamstrung by a court interpretation? Because everything they do is they are trying to interpret their standing orders and they are trying to basically adhere to the Constitution. So almost everything they do there, the court will have to decide then eventually.
It is not. It's only when we have dubious interpretations that will happen. Since we came to Parliament, you've just we just said that, oh, there has only been 2. It is only when the parliament decides to list its boundaries properly defined in a decent way by the constitution and assume roles that have not been assigned it by the very constitution, then we'll have challenges. It is not true. Look at when it started, even 1992, J.J. Rawlings' time to date. How many times have we gone to Parliament and said that we are trying to stop the work of Parliament? Has the Supreme Court ever said it will stop the work of Parliament? It will only sanitize what is right by Parliament through what we call constitutional interpretation. That is all. The Supreme Court is not interested in, micromanaging Parliament. It's not doing that at all. And let's get it right.
So if the law is clear, you apply it. If the law is not clear, you go for interpretation. Basically, that's what it is, right?
That is what it is. You see, if there is no, if you like, issue or any matter of controversy, what are you interpreting? But there's a matter of controversy. Even now, I'm so excited that you understand the parameters of, what is happening. That we are talking about the fact that whether it relates to the election or it is a future decision, and I'm telling you the truth, the banter we are having now, it's like as if we are in the Supreme Court arguing, and they will have the remedy. They are the referee, you see, to look at, the Constitution and say that, yes, okay, my brother speaking to Atatia, I think the superior argument is with you, and these are reasons why we should uphold your submission. That is the sanity of the Constitution. The Constitution is not saying that set your own mark and then when set your own exam and then mark it. You understand? Then you have a legislature trying to do the law, the work of the court, and somebody who is very mischievous saying that, in terms of Article 122, the Supreme Court is trying to interfere with our work and hamstring us. It doesn't accord with common sense.
So what do you expect to happen on Tuesday So, by the way, will you go to Parliament on Tuesday? Because on Thursday, the leader said that the MPP will not go to Parliament until the matter is heard. But that was before the stay of execution was granted. So, what is the strategy? Is MPP going to be in Parliament on Tuesday?
I don't have the collective strategy, and it will lie ill in my mouth to begin to pontificate as to what we'll do. So I think it's a leadership thing together with all of us. The quality decision will be taken probably today, which is a non-sitting day, and then we know the way forward. But I'm saying that MPP will not promote constitutional lawlessness. We are not going to do that. It is wrong for anybody to say that in the name of Parliament, let me be lawless. No. If you don't respect the Constitution, then you are not entitled to sit as a member of Parliament. Because it is the very Constitution that gave you the space to sit as a member of Parliament. If you believe in lawlessness, please, then you don't understand the rule of law. And it's a disgrace to your honor as a member of Parliament to misbehave. We will not abide the outcomes of judicial decisions. Then what are we trying to do?
Thank you for
all the people in Ghana say the cause do not matter. Excuse me to say, we are all reduced to savages and we are in the wild, where your might and how you feel should prevail, not the rule of law. We should understand the rule of law. We are too old to ignore the rule of law. 1992 to date, we should come to terms with the rule of law and stop this, instinctive and whimsical postures, which at the end of the day is not healthy for us.
Thank you for talking to us, Honorable Atachia. We appreciate your time, sir.
My pleasure as always.
That was the MP for Ibuakwa South and lawyer Atachia, former minister.
Another interesting perspective.
The thing, there are two sides to everything. Neta said something this morning. He said there are two things.
There are two things involved.
What are they?
He was quoting basketball. He said in life there are two things involved. You are either a man or a woman.
Man, there are two things involved. So in this matter,
there are two things involved.
It's either you go with the Supreme Court's ruling or you want to go the other.
But Bernard, in all this, let me tell you something. You know what I gleaned from all this? My take from this. Read that.
Is it 122?
Yes, the part that talks about how you can be removed from.
97.
Yes, how you can lose your seat.
Mm-hmm.
I think that at the end of all this, when this comes to an end, they might need to sit down to look at that particular clause.
They maybe have to declare that
they have to declare, because you see, there is, looking at the interpretation that have been put to it and the meanings, there is no way that clause can effectively
be implemented. It will probably not survive.
It is a useless clause as it is.
Or maybe the Supreme Court will uphold what Babin did. They could.
Whichever way.
If they did, then that makes it clear.
No, but because it's, if you read it on the surface, you've read it several times, I've read it several times, it is pretty clear.
But you see, listen to Atacha, what I gleaned was my summary for him, which he agreed with.
Yes.
If the law is clear, enforce it. If the law is not clear, go for interpretation. You know why? It becomes unclear when it becomes contentious. So you see, for example, on the issue of whether a speaker, is this my phone?
Yes, it is.
Forgive me. Oh, when a speaker of a parliament, maybe the deputy speaker is sitting as the speaker, can he vote? I think there was some lack of clarity there, and so somebody took the matter to court. You remember that issue?
Yes.
Good. So I'm not sure whether controversy equates to content, or let me put it this way: the fact that a thing is contested or controversial, does it make it unclear? Do you see my logic? So when you read the 97, to the average reader, it's very clear,
which is what the law is supposed to be.
Good. Now, his argument is that you can't interpret it because it's gotten to a point of contention, and it's controversial because now somebody disagrees the way you've interpreted it. So a clause becomes contentious and therefore controversial. Therefore, you have to go for interpretation and not just enforce it based on your understanding, because he calls it a warped interpretation. Do you follow me? So when I listen to Ayariga's point is that it's a clear law.
Yeah,
so you are just implementing.
But in listening to Lawyer Tachia,
yes,
and his explanation of that particular article as compared to what he called the warped interpretation, because his interpretation of it seeks to place this in the next parliament.
Yes.
Which is not available here.
That's what Speaker said. Speaker said, if I'm going to look at next parliament, then this is useless.
Yes, because there is no way the spirit of this law
will say that
you have to deal with this. You have to look at a future election.
Exactly.
Or a future parliament.
Yes.
Then the people who wrote the law, I'm sorry, what was the thinking behind it?
It's a very interesting angle you've taken, and some people take your view as well. And indeed, when you read the Speaker's ruling,
there's no way the spirit of the law
if he's going to wait for next year, and the other,
then it will not have existed like this.
And the other point that came to me, but I didn't raise in the interview,
I find it interesting. I think that clause, if whatever, they should look at it again.
And recall my question to him as well. I was trying to get his view around the automaticity of your losing
of
your
being
seat.
Triggered.
All right. So we said in 2020, Isiama is in the MPP MP.
Yeah,
then he says you go independent.
Yeah.
Now MPP rise to Speaker Okwe and said, per our constitution, Article 391 of the Constitution, a member of Parliament who decides to essentially run on another party's ticket automatically forfeits their membership. So that seems to satisfy the prerequisites for the Speaker to sack the person.
Sack the person, yes.
All right. So now that MPP is saying that what Speaker Babin is doing is unconstitutional, are they saying that their own constitution has a clause which is unconstitutional? Do you understand my logic? Because when you go to MPP constitution, once you go and run on another party's ticket or as independent as an MPP member or vice versa, you automatically forfeit your membership, which then gives the Speaker the right to do what he did. So if you're saying that what the Speaker did is wrong, then it means that what you have also put in your party constitution is unconstitutional.
Yes. But
did you follow my point?
Yeah.
But of course I didn't raise it, but I thought that it was an interesting angle too. So if the parliament, if the judiciary decides that the way the Speaker has interpreted the law is unconstitutional, it may also mean that some clauses of the parties, and this is plural, political parties' constitutions are also unconstitutional.
So for instance, my good friend Edin Tim sends a message who says that he thinks that there has to be an express statement of defection to trigger this.
Good. From who? The party, the person,
whichever. But those who also argue against that say, they are telling you that some of the things are express in the sense that you cannot say you are an independent candidate after being a member of party A or party B. Sit with that group in parliament.
Yeah.
but you are in the constituency campaigning against the interest of that.
Especially when the notice of poll is printed. Or it was evidence that you are filed.
You have filed.
So that filing is an action.
Is an action.
So do you work with EC, the party, or your own declaration? So what does that express thing mean? So maybe that's why they need a Supreme Court.
Oh, wow.
So as I said, there are 2 good articles on this. So you can read Idi Muhayadin's article, which supports the MPP view, and then you can read and probably I need to share both, by the way.
Yeah, you have. People should find out. So they are online. They are available online.
The other article, I don't just want to give you the name of the author again. So Idi's article is an open letter to the speaker. All right. The other article is written. I want the name of the guy. Give me 2 seconds. And he is interesting because he does it like an academic piece.
Yes.
But it came out only over the weekend.
Yes.
Right. So
that's Dr. Asamoah's piece.
Yes, that's the name, Dr. Asamoah. I'm trying to find it. I don't know where I put it. Just a minute. So yeah, get those 2 articles and read, and then you can decide what you believe. Yes, it's called Joseph Kweku Asamoah. Joseph Kweku Asamoah's article thinks that the Supreme Court went overboard, but Idi's article thinks that the speaker went overboard. So
tomorrow is a new day.
There are a few voices I'm going to air on this. We're talking to some people about what all of these things mean for our democracy. We'll bring you some highlights shortly. Okay. But whatever you're doing in town today, an SG Visa card can make it better. It's your best option to make payments for goods and services online or anywhere with a point of sale machine. Enjoy a world of amazing opportunities available with the SG Visa card. Go about your business anywhere in Ghana with the comfort and security of your money available to you always. Make your life easy and use your SG Visa card today. Call 0302-214-314. SG Ghana, the future is you.
Now, the new order of retirement is here. You can retire on your own terms now with a guaranteed monthly income for the rest of your life. Simply invest a lump sum into the Old Mutual Retirement Salary Plan today and start receiving monthly income to enjoy the perfect retirement. Call Old Mutual on 050-453-4333 or visit their website oldmutual.com.gh to find out more. Old Mutual do great things every day. Now, to all the female entrepreneurs, agribusiness owners, and young entrepreneurs out there, we see you. We understand your challenges. That is why APSA is partnering the MasterCard Foundation to offer SME loans at an unbelievable 10% interest rate per annum. Imagine having access to about 1 million cedis completely collateral free. Your success is our success. If you are ready to write the next chapter of your successful story, visit APSA's SME Project Office, the nearest APSA branch, or visit apsa.com.gh to find out more. Your story matters, APSA.
All right. We'll read some comments shortly. City Breakfast Show, but let's talk about Copan Hospitality and some of the things they're up to shortly, Nathan.
Yes. From the 20th to the 27th of December, they are offering you a great combo. They want to take you to Dubai and Nairobi for $1,650. It will cover all the important things: visa, accommodation, tour activities, tickets, every other thing you can imagine. Call them on 0556-965-924 to find out more, or visit their social media platforms at Copan Hospitality. Copan Hospitality Tourism at its best. Heritage Christian University College is announcing that admissions for January 2025 are in progress. Lead the change with the university built for tomorrow's leaders. And since 2018, they've given over 450,000 cedis as startup grants to a number of students who start their businesses. They are accredited by GTech and they are located at Amasaman behind the Olympic Stadium. Visit their website, hcuc.edu.gh, or call them on 0547-777-731. Heritage Christian University College, educating compassionate entrepreneurial leaders.
All right. Okay, and Mikasa's big event is happening 2nd and 3rd November. If you're looking to buy your first or next home, an investment property, genuine land, or get expert advice on your home ownership journey, then this fair is for you. Come and meet over 50 of Ghana's seasoned developers, speak to mortgage providers, home improvement retailers, and joining enlightening and relevant conversations within the real estate industry, all for free. Topics like how to select the perfect property for Airbnb or short-let investment, and what to do to protect your land in Ghana, led by industry professionals. I know some ideas came to your head when I say what to do to protect your land in Ghana. Where Clanty. No. It's a discussion. It's a discussion. So it's not violence.
Yes.
Now, this event is on the 2nd and 3rd of November at the Mevabik Hotel, 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. each day. To register to attend for free, you go to mikasa.com/fair. But to exhibit at the fair, you may have to call 0501 680 737 or send an email to info@mikasa.com. The Mikasa Home and Property Fair is proudly headline sponsored by Gold Key Properties and Clifton Homes as platinum sponsor, media partner Citi FM and Channel 1 TV. Mikasa, Ghana's #1 property website. Take a shortish break. There's a lot of comments coming up and views being expressed by other people on what to do to resolve this very big issue. Stay with us.
This is the City Breakfast Show, the city's biggest conversation.
Labadi Beach Hotel in Accra, 6:30 p.m. Prompt on the theme, the role of local content in building Ghana's energy sector. Special guest of honor, Osabere Makwesi III, the Omahini of Ogua traditional area. For tickets and sponsorship, call 0303 940 300. Industry partners: Ghana Gas, Volta River Authority, Buipa Authority, Main Energy Technology, National Petroleum Authority, Energy Commission, Goil Bust, PURC, JK Hoggle, and Transport and Company, ECG, Sunona Sogli Power Entry Center. Now that we have this potential standoff between Parliament and the court, the Supreme Court, Speaker has made a judgment or a ruling. The Supreme Court has granted a stay of execution, and they didn't even give it a 10-day limit. They basically said, stay this until the matter is fully determined. And they went ex parte, the side that took the matter to court. Tuesday is going to be a very, very, very interesting day for people who are very concerned about health and importance of our parliaments. What do they think? Doc, thanks for joining us. Good morning. So,
good morning.
First and foremost, because you are with Africa Parliamentary Center,
It's African Center for Parliamentary Affairs.
Thank
so,
you.
Bernard, let me just...
Africa Center for Parliamentary Affairs. Forgive me. A lot of
you
things
are one of our associates.
I know. A lot of things in my head. So you exist to ensure that parliaments across the continent are strong and healthy as part of a well-functioning democracy, I presume. I want to understand how you see the importance of legislatures across the continent before I even come to my substantive question.
Bernard, I've been in parliamentary work since I finished my PhD. That's all I have done for more than 20 years now. And what many people sometimes fail to realize is that there are so many things that a parliament can do. And very few things that a parliament cannot do. And secondly, when you talk about a democratic system, the fulcrum is parliament. So that is how important a parliament and parliamentarians are in the scheme of things when we talk about a democratic dispensation.
Wonderful. Yeah. Now, this where we are today seems to be a matter where a ruling of a speaker is being questioned by one side and has been taken to court for interpretation. But while that matter will be interpreted, there's...
Sorry, Bernard, the line, got fuzzy a bit. I didn't hear.
So what I'm saying is that we have a misunderstanding over the speaker's ruling on Thursday, and one side of the House has gone to the Supreme Court to stay the execution of that ruling until a final determination of a substantive constitutional interpretation issue. Generally speaking, when things from Parliament are sent to the Supreme Court, should we be concerned? Because there's a view that parliaments are masters of their own rules, and their work should not be interfered with by any other arm of government. And yet some people say, well, you need to have the supremacy of the Constitution, and the person who has to interpret the Constitution is the judiciary. So where do you stand in that balance? How do we strike the right balance?
Well, I think, so let me say, Bernard, that, in even very older and well-established democracies, judicial reviews of, the workings of Parliament are accepted, but they are very rare. They are very, very rare because, the democratic architecture in almost every country is such that, the independence and the autonomy, of course, that doesn't suggest the absence of interdependence of the three branches of government is usually very well protected, so that the court would come in very rare circumstances when things are not very clear, and the reading of Parliament of a constitutional provision is different from maybe the way that the court reads that provision. Under those kind of rare circumstances, the courts are called in to intervene and say, this is our reading of a particular provision, and that puts the matter to rest, because, the Supreme Court is supposed to be the final say. I'm not a lawyer, but I think that that's what it is when it comes to matters law.
So these things are supposed to be rare.
So, they are supposed to be rare, Bernard, but let me make a point that in this element, which has had so many different lives, and which has been characterized by big kind of dramas, we've seen a penchant for, members of parliament, and sometimes members instigate, outside stakeholders to run to the court. And I've been telling them, what you are doing is you are weakening your own institution. Because wherever you find yourself today, it's not a permanent station. Because in parliamentary parlance, we say minorities change. And in our country, we know that we ought to be very careful how many times and how quick we run to the court to say, interpret or get involved in what we are trying to do to hold the executive to account. Just because maybe it doesn't please somebody, or because, whatever is going on is something that somebody doesn't like. But they are forgetting that precedents are being set.
Yeah.
And tomorrow somebody will just get up and say, well, this happened, and that's what we have right now. People are saying, 4 years ago, this didn't happen. Nobody went to court. So I'm talking about the precedent kind of aspect of it. And they are setting so many bad precedents that if we are not careful, we'll wake up someday and our parliament will be paralyzed.
Well, where we are today, depending on what happens tomorrow, we could have a standoff between two arms of government.
Yes.
What would that mean for our democracy? Because if the speaker decides to abide by Thursday's ruling and defy the court, some people think that means that he would have been in contempt of court. There are also those who say that the Parliament of Ghana cannot be obstructed in its work. They quote Article 122, and anybody who tries to do that will be contempt of Parliament. So we seem to be in a serious interpose, and I'm not sure if the executive can solve this, because of course they would not necessarily be seen to be neutral, right? How do we wriggle our way out of this in order not to compromise our democracy?
So, Bernard, yesterday I had your own platform. I granted an interview, and my view on this matter, I think, is that we need a conversation, a three-way conversation between the president, the speaker, and the chief justice. Anybody who thinks that this matter is going to resolve itself, or things will play out, in the end, nothing is going to happen, I think they have to think again. Because we've seen instances in this 8th Parliament where both sides have dug in. So much so that, at some point in the history of this Parliament, things were almost breaking down. Some of us were involved in a lot of conversations and so on that brought the leaders together just to avoid, complete breakdown. But, those matters were not weighty and as serious as what we are dealing with right now. So you have a parliament today, we can say a parliament that has two majorities, each aiming to hold a majority position. hearing, at least I heard from the majority, my NDC whip, because I don't want to offend anybody by calling somebody majority, somebody minority, saying, heard that the military is going to come in. So apart from, Bernard, that the fact that our country could be plunged into a constitutional crisis, and our democracy will be tested more than it has.
Hello? Hello? We seem to be having challenges with Dr. Dramani. We'll try and put him back on. He was making an important point. It's 19 minutes past 9. Cool. There are many possibilities for tomorrow, aren't there?
Yes, I was just playing around with a few in my head. So what if tomorrow the speaker calls Cynthia Morrison and asks her on the floor, which party are you contesting the election? Are you contesting the election? And she says, I'm going independent. Would that be considered an open declaration?
I think some people will say the question should be, which party are you a member of?
Yeah.
But again, by filing independent, you have automatically forfeited your membership of the MPP, according to what the MPP says.
Wouldn't that be the open declaration they are looking for?
It's difficult. Yeah, Dr. Rahman, you were making an important point before we lost you. If you could just wrap up.
So, Bernard, I was saying that, apart from the fact that, this, the fourth Republican dispensation will be tested more than it has ever been since we started in 1993. Today the democracies are don't have a lot of favor with the citizens across the globe. In our own country here, you look at Afrobarometer data. You go around the globe, there are so many reports that indicate that people don't have very fast losing faith in democracy and the processes of democracy itself. So our country is right now, if I say this, I'm not saying anything new. An island in a sub-region that is chaotic and all kind of issues. People are holding up very little hope about democracy, just using the examples of countries like ours. You have a crisis like this, it just reinforces, the views and sometimes the perceptions that people have. And so for me, that's because this has the potential to drag our entire sub-region into, something that we cannot recognize. Nigeria is facing its own crisis. Our Sahel brothers, that one, we can't even talk about that. Senegal is facing its own of how that has been resolved. But right now, there's even a test in that country. President dissolved parliament, they are going to elections. We don't know what's going to happen. So we don't want a situation where, all the good examples disappear. And with the leadership of Ghana, sometimes we go out there and people ask us, is it true that the military were in your parliament on the first day of the 8th parliament? And that alone is a big shame, Bernard. I think the point I'm making is that we have come along, and this is a time when we need to hear from the elders in this country, the imams, the archbishops, the chiefs, the peace council, and anybody who has the moral compass. I think we need to hear from them. If they wait until tomorrow and think that, we are capable of, to the extent that it is capable of resolving some of these difficulties, because this is a test case. So, all to say, it's a trying moment, and let us not wait until the horses have bolted before we see, a lot of movement. I was talking to some senior people this morning, and I said, look, whoever you can call, even if you have to call the office of the president, please do call, because we are joking with this matter, and I think that perhaps many people are not appreciating the weighty nature and the kind of consequences that tomorrow can bring to our nation and our image and our democracy.
Thank you very much, Dr. Rashid Dramani, for talking to us. He's from the Africa Center for Parliamentary Affairs. Time check 9:24. We're still on the City Breakfast Show. We'll read some of your comments shortly. But yes, Mums is finally here. The news we've all been waiting for. Your favorite Cerelac now comes in a new variant with the combined goodness of wheat and maize, grains fortified with iron, vitamins, and minerals. And guess what? This new Cerelac wheat and maize comes at an affordable price of only 2 Ghana cedis per sachet. To prepare for this new Cerelac wheat and milk, just add milk. In fact, Cerelac, milk. Cerelac, care for them, count on us. This advert is FDA approved. All right, let's read some comments on this.
Yeah, it says, Godfred, it is not a policy choice. This is an interpretation of a process and procedure on how things should be done. Parliament doesn't occupy that space, irrespective of what has been done in the past. Bernard and team, beyond the legal jargon and self-serving interpretation, I think the Speaker's ruling should stand, since Parliament applied same in 2020 without anyone contesting it. Parliament should handle its own matters following its rules, while the Supreme Court continues to interpret the constitutional provision of MPs vacating their seats. Any interference in parliamentary proceedings to await somebody else's opinion gives the impression of bias towards one party, which is not a good precedent. Remember the golden rule. This is Courage from Kofodia. There will be even more confusion in Ghana's parliament, even into the first quarter of 2025. Time and again, God has sent several warnings to the Parliament of Ghana to serve the interests of the Ghanaian people, and they refused. The confusion will continue. Mark my words. Good morning, CBS.
Morning.
Please, my take on happening in Parliament is that someone can pretend to be with a political party just to win a seat in a stronghold of a party and then switch to the party of his choice if we don't deal with this issue properly. That is George. Zalix doing in London says, constitutional crisis, and it's sad. Our judiciary is too predictable. And this Ni Ado from Amman Firm says, hi, Bernard and team.
Hi.
In all this, who is thinking about the constituents who voted for these MPs to represent them for 4 years? Good morning, CBS team.
Morning.
I believe the Supreme Court has the ultimate power in interpreting the Constitution of Ghana. The Speaker gave a perceptive determination and Parliament had to adhere. The MPs who lost their seats are not coming to the next Parliament. Should they be excused from Parliament? This gives a clear understanding to the current position of the Supreme Court. I believe it's common law that the MP's decision shall affect the next Parliament, but not the current. Fred Owari from DSL. Good morning, Bernard.
Morning.
Please ask Atacha what is his understanding of Article 34, Clause 1, the implementation of directive principle. Hello, Citi FM. A strong team of Citi FM. Hey, Charlie. My name is Mishael from Hohoi. It is obvious that these politicians are people of deception. The funny thing about this interpretation thing is that our politicians and the judiciary are telling us is that when I meet a policeman by the roadside and who's trying to apply the law of the land, I can be able to tell him that enforcement should wait. It's like go to court for interpretation. that's not that simple. Mishael, you lie, man. Interesting that Article 122 has come into play. Who has the power to even determine whether or not something amounts to contempt under Article 122? Parliament or the Supreme Court? Bernard, I felt sad listening to Lawyer Tachia. Why do we have separation of powers? You don't need to be a lawyer to read English text and understand it. You need to be a lawyer to process it. Good morning, Bernard and team.
Morning.
Assuming without admitting, because I'm not a lawyer, that Speaker Okwe was wrong, can there be any action against the state? Afote from Oyarefa, Mampong, Aria from Mampong says, good morning, Bernard.
Morning.
Can you call a non-partisan person to ask the question? I think that was, he did the interview in stages, so I'm sure.
So I did NDC, I did MPP, and then I did Draman. So yes. I hope that helps.
Bernardino, please. Why should he think the law seeking someone to vacate his or her seat is a futuristic one, while the person hasn't even won the future seat? They just lack principles. Vincent McAfee. Good morning, Bernard.
Morning.
Please ask. This one was an Atachian question. What's the difference between applying the law and interpreting the law? Why didn't Atachian make this argument in 2020? But the students think we are dumb. When it's used, you make argument for it, and when it doesn't, you make arguments against. This country is at its worst. Politicians will clearly not save this country for the benefit of the masses, but only their own interest. This is surprisingly surprising. Kay says so. Kwesi Akwa from Sakumono. Please ask the lawyers this question for me. The Speaker has the notice of poll from the EC. If we go by the NPP's position, it means the parties are fielding 2 candidates per constituency. One is independent and the other is on their candidate. What does the electoral law say about multiple candidates by a political party? And this is, you see, this is what I've been saying, Bernard. Bottom line, this is the common man's interpretation of this law, this clause that is at the Supreme Court.
Yeah.
This is, let me read because I like it. Personally, I like it. I'll read it again. Charlie, Abeku, bring that thing again. Let me read it.
From Sakumono.
Says, if the Speaker has the notice of poll from the EC, if we go by the NPP's position, it means the parties are fielding 2 candidates per constituency. One is independent and the other one is their party's candidate. What does the electoral law say about multiple candidates by a political party?
That is the question.
Bernard, please find out from the MP. Okay, that's.
So some of them are questions, right?
Yes.
Right.
Thank you.
Okay. Couple of quick announcements still on the City Breakfast Show. Nathan?
Yes, picture this. You're home, you're trying to lie down after a long working day, but the mattress is sagging beneath you. It's because you compromised and you bought the wrong type of mattress. Go to Latex Home. They have correct mattresses, correct furniture, all of them done with your ultimate relaxation in mind. Call them on 0302-231-155 or visit them on latexfoamghana.com. Latex Foam is your partner for life.
Good morning.
Now, Providence Insurance is here. They've been in the space for a very long time. They've brought a new one. They have a WhatsApp assistant called Obaya. Okay, so save Obaya's number 0242-426-396. Send her a hi and follow the prompts. She'll help you buy a new policy, renew one, even file a claim wherever it is you are. It doesn't matter your location. With Obaya, you can get things done. With Providence Insurance, man, you are covered.
This is the City Breakfast Show, the city's biggest conversation.
Ghana's biggest housing event, the Mikasa Home and Property Fair, is here. Whether you're looking to buy an elegant house, a cozy apartment, or genuine land, come and meet over 50 top developers, home loan specialists, home improvement specialists, and get personalized expert advice on your home ownership journey. Also, join in informative and stimulating seminars with industry experts and get the chance to network all for free. Date, 2nd and 3rd November 2024. Venue, Movenpick Ambassador Hotel. Time, 9 a.m. till 7 p.m. each day. Attendance is absolutely free. Headline sponsor, Gold Key Properties. Platinum sponsor, Clifton Homes. Media partner, Citi FM and Channel 1 TV. To exhibit at the fair, contact us on 050-168-0737 or info@mikasa.com. Mikasa.com, Ghana's #1 property website.
Come on. Good boy. Honey, look, he's crawling.
Wow.
Good job. The new Cerelac Wheat and Maize has the combined goodness of wheat and maize grains fortified with iron, vitamins, and minerals also found in fruits and vegetables. To prepare the new Cerelac Wheat and Maize, just add milk. Enjoy your little one's big moments at less cost. Cerelac, care for them, count on us. This advert is FDA approved.
I like my mind peace. That's why I go get my Bampo insurance from Holland Life. Just yesterday, my Abusha Penny asked everybody to pay 1,000 Ghana cedis for penny funeral. But Masa, Nukureni, and Mosomekora. My Bambo helped me cover cost of funeral and any disability cost by paying 2 Ghana cedis per Bushumibia. A simple cry.
Yes, with as little as 2 Ghana cedis, you too can have peace of mind about cost of injury and funeral.
well by simply registering with Mibambo Insurance from Hollard Life. Just dial *269# on MTN or Telecel and follow the prompts. It's really that simple. Enjoy peace of mind today, knowing your tomorrow is covered. Mibambo Insurance, made for you.
Hey, Auntie Essie and her replica. Long time. How may I help you?
Auntie Amma, our course has gained admission to the university, but the money to pay for her fees is my headache now. Where am I going to get 2,500 cedis in this Ghana? Where?
Essie, stop that. You don't have to stress about the fees. Hey, keep your cloth. John Mahama and the NDC say when they come to power, all first-year students in all public universities, technical universities, college of education and nursing training will pay no academic fees. The first year is free.
Hey! This is the best news I've heard this year. Wow!
See, that is not all. Listen! JDM says continuing students can apply and access a student loan plus, which is higher than the normal student loan, to support the payment of their fees. So when a course goes to second year, she will have access to the student loan plus to continue her education.
Wow! God bless you, JDM.
What is so heartwarming is a free tertiary education for our brothers and sisters who are physically challenged.
JDM, God bless the stomach that gave birth to you.
Vote for change. Vote for John Dramani Mahama and the NDC.
All right. The 8th edition of the prestigious Ghana Energy Awards is here. It is happening live on Friday, 25th October at the Labadi Beach Hotel in Accra. Time 6:30 p.m. prompt. Theme: the role of local content in building Ghana's energy sector. Special guest of honor: Osabari Makwesi Atta II, the Oman Hene Ogwa traditional area. For tickets and sponsorship, call 030-3940-300. Industry partners: Ghana Gas, Volta River Authority, Bui Power Authority, Minergy Technology, National Petroleum Authority, Energy Commission, Goyle, Boast, PURC, JK Hugley Transport and Company, CG, Sunona Sogli Power, AOMC, WAP Chamber, Media Partners, Citi FM, Graphic News Plus, validation by Forbes Mazars Ghana, Ghana Energy Awards, 8 years of redefining excellence.
What happens when ancient days meet modernity? What happens when a goddess wakes up in an era of digital chaos? Witness the epic battle between the past and the present. Catch the intrigue and suspense in Amwanime's era, a brand new epic telenovela showing Mondays to Fridays on Aquaba Magic, DSTV channel 150 and Go TV channel 102. Available on DSTV Access and Go TV Plus. Dial *759# to stay connected.
First days and long nights out in the city.
Are you ready to kickstart your dream project without breaking the bank? Rexfield and Peach presents to you registered land with title certificate in Tema Community 25 at unbeatable prices. Rush now to secure your piece of paradise today. Don't miss your chance to invest smart and build your dreams. You can contact us on 0257 955 431 or 02444556689. Rexfield and Peach, pathway to your dream property.
Oh, baby, knowing it's not true.
Join the conversation on the City Breakfast Show on Facebook at facebook.com/City97.3, Twitter at twitter.com/City973, and Instagram at instagram.com/City973 with the hashtag CityCBS.
This is
As for tomorrow, only God, Nathan. As for tomorrow.
Yep.
Let's read a few comments.
More drama. This one says, what hurts me is that this majority-minority issue is taking attention from the Galamsey campaign. I wish all these politicians talking left, right, center would did same during the illegal mining campaign. Which Ghana are they fighting for?
Say again.
This one says, can you seek the view of any former Supreme Court judge, preferably, his Justice Atuguba or Justice Gloria Kufu?
Okay.
Max from Adenta is asking. We'll see if we can do that. Please, the speaker's rule should stand. Why do we have separation of powers? Raw from Ashorman.
Okay.
And I agree with Dr. Dramani. The issue at hand is weightier than we think.
Yeah.
That's from the business scientist.
It's a very grave matter, which I think requires cool heads. We don't need to allow the hawks to always push us to the brink. We're in a difficult situation. We have 2 months to an election. We want the election to be peaceful, and then whatever happens after that will also be peaceful. So some of these build-ups, and you see, this parliament has had a very checkered history. The way it even was, how do I even put it, brought into being. Yeah. It was birthed in anarchy. Voting and all the people chewing ballots, chasing. So it's I don't know.
Remember when we were dealing with, there was a time I told you we need, when the OSP was having issues, we need, my suggestion was the OSP should try and have a conversation with the Chief Justice, because there is no way the OSP's job can be done without the judiciary.
Yeah.
And he must make certain things clear to the Chief Justice that this is what we need to do.
Yeah.
And Dr. Draman also makes the important point that, look, there should be a conversation between the CJ, the Speaker, perhaps even the President, if need be, on some of these matters to understand and get on the same page. Because, like you're saying, sometimes the repercussions goes beyond your party interests. Okay, so if they're able to have conversations about these things, the better for us and democracy. But if you want to always do it like this, well,
it's not going to help us.
It's not going to help us. But which reminds me, did I hear during the newspaper review, Nathan and Nana Tufo talk about a statue, and I'm building you a statue.
The statue thing.
I will put it in the city garden.
I wasn't sure what the fuss was about, but I think I went to read around it. I think the Yoko has put up a bust of Mami Tiwa.
Interesting for them.
And they call it Tiwa Gardens. And it's generating controversy. I really didn't see the point, but I don't know.
Well,
I don't see the point around all of that.
We'll deal with this another day. But
yeah.
The second one is really sad. This moment, I think I was following on social our coverage of the vigil.
Oh, Charlie, Friday.
2 young ladies on Friday who passed away.
Yeah.
And the burial service, the funeral service of, I think one was at Agape.
Yeah.
The other one, and just the sheer public grief.
Yeah. The outpouring of grief.
That
it's so
was
tragic.
displayed
there,
and you ask yourself why. You just ask yourself why I should have come to this end. It's Nathan says this thing. There are moments, that we shouldn't miss, and it should not take tragedy. But I hope the Ghana Police Service, the MTTD, are on the roads in those places, making sure that people don't misbehave.
Yeah.
And they shouldn't go to sleep on these matters.
Cut short 2 lives.
Yes, just
in a blink of an
just like
eye.
that. I saw the grandmother
Charlie
of one of the young.
Charlie, she
when you watch
she almost wanted to undress herself.
I say you cry if you watch the bulletin. I think it was Friday when I got home.
It was heavy.
It's tough.
It was heavy,
and I can feel it.
Yeah, I know. You're a parent,
Charlie.
It's heavy.
Charlie?
It's really, really heavy stuff.
Charlie.
So they should deal with that. Which also leads me to this weekend, Bernard. I don't know how it happened, but a lot of Ghanaians took videos of journeys they were making at night on the road.
Okay.
And the lack of street lights. Bernard, have you driven through Labadi Beach going to Teshi at night before? Like from Independence Square
You mean like the beach road?
The beach road.
I tried it once and I vowed never to do it again.
Bernard, you can't see a thing.
You know, there was a day I was even driving. I told you I did something I went to Choco. And I was coming towards Kolebu. And there was a T junction I was supposed to turn to, bro. I couldn't see the turn.
Yeah.
And
you basically have to drive with your highlight on.
And when you are doing Labadi Beach towards Teshi and you are even turning, there's this Teshi Rasta Road.
Rasta Road, yes.
You don't see anything. There's a lot of, you don't see anything. It's very serious.
And
very
the person, or one other person also, I think, was doing one of the main, I think it was the central region side of town. Dark. And I think this was after like 8 p.m. It was like completely dark. Somebody was doing somewhere the Ashanti region through.
Yeah.
Darkness everywhere. Basically, every road you use in this country is halfway dark.
It's terrible.
The street light thing, the 35% street lights that they've been charging us.
Terrible.
What do they use it for? Because you can't be driving through a modern city.
Yeah.
A modern city.
Yes.
Like Accra.
And it's so dark.
And it's dark in most parts.
And then there's also no street markings.
Yeah.
So that makes it even worse. So you don't have enough street lights. And then you don't have any markings. So now you're driving based on your own estimation of whether. That's why you have a lot of people being knocked down in the night.
Yes.
You have these people like somebody leaves a vehicle on the road.
You don't see anything.
No triangle, and then you run into it.
Nothing.
There's a lot of that.
So please, we need some lights on our roads.
I actually think it's one of the issues that if we were to do a public out, there's a lot of people who are concerned about it, but nobody has mobilized around it. And I feel like it's something that next year will become a big issue. Because of elections, a lot of things tend to be politicized.
Yes.
But in a normal non-election year, a lot of people who use the roads will rise up on this matter. And the other thing I want to say about this is that because the excuse the government gives is that when they set up street lights, people steal the street lights. I think we should translate some of the anger about lack of street lights to also form public watchdogs about street light thievery, where people go and steal the cables or steal the lights. That is such an unpatriotic act.
Bernard, I have a question.
Talk to me.
Are there not thieves in the streets of Nairobi?
But maybe they have a different mindset.
Are there no thieves in Lagos?
Maybe the Ghanaian thieves are different breed. They have different fathers.
Look, Bernard, even New York City,
people,
if you give them the chance, there are people who will steal the street lights.
So what should we do?
That is the question that they need to ask.
So are you saying there's no role for the public in? I'm not saying that's the reason why we don't have street lights.
But that is the excuse they give us. That's when they fix
that's
street
what
lights.
I'm saying.
No, I know you haven't said so.
What I'm saying is that.
But we've interviewed them where they have told us that people steal street lights and so they don't fix street lights.
Well, no, they are saying that they didn't say that. They said they are saying that there are no street lights because when they fix the street light, people come and steal them.
Mm-hmm.
That's why you don't have enough street lights.
Yes.
In addition to the fact that they haven't invested enough.
Yes.
What I'm saying is that government has to provide street lights, but there's also part of the conversation about why should communities sit down for people to come and steal their street lights.
Bernard, when I'm so we should form a watchdog committee in Dansuman, at General Champo Highway.
General, let's just open our eyes.
Hold on, at General Champo Highway, 1 a.m. My street will run a shift on the street. They will watch that they are not stealing the street lights or what.
It shouldn't get to that point.
It should never get to that point. Exactly.
It shouldn't get to that point.
So the question is, what have other cities done to keep their street lights on that we are unable to do in Accra? Because there are thieves everywhere.
That's a very good question.
There are thieves everywhere.
So is it street cameras? Is it police? Is it? I don't know.
But I'm saying, look, there was a day I was. This story is funny. There was a day I was traveling to Accra. I was journeying to Accra. And I left home. I live in an area called Kileleshwa. So as soon as you get out of the Kileleshwa road, you turn left. You are going down. It's a proper highway. We went down the road like 10 minutes, and there was somebody atop one of the street lights.
Oh yeah, then.
Oh yeah, street lights.
Hey, okay.
But you know what's funny? We did not go 2 seconds down the road. We saw a police vehicle approaching, and you could just see the police van throw the lights
on the guy.
They catch him simple as we were leaving. So how did the police know that somebody was up the street lights at that time.
Maybe somebody called them.
Because somebody was asleep. We can't be keeping street light vigils if we just because we want street lights. What kind of extra hassle is this?
Governor, I understand what you're saying, and I agree with you that there has to be a system in place to ensure that the street lights, which is public investment, is protected. Now, I have a problem the way our police sit behind or sit at traffic lights waiting to catch you for running the red light and not doing anything else. When they are supposed to, for example, when there's traffic congestion, interfere with the traffic to allow it to flow better. So I think we can deploy security better. All right. But I also think that there's a role for communities to also protect public property. Generally speaking, Ghanaians need to be more conscious about protecting what is theirs collectively. So maybe you're a watch seller and you notice somebody doing something on an electric pole near you. You may want to ask, what are you doing? You may want to make a call. There should also be a system where you can call a number. So they could say, okay, if you see anybody on a street light, call this phone or text this number. Mm-hmm. What I'm saying is that there are many ways of doing it. Yes. That does not excuse the absolute dereliction of having no street lights.
Yes. So I want us to accept the absolute dereliction and lay as little emphasis as possible on the role of citizens on this matter. You see? Because, one, we've complained about the general infrastructure of the roads, the general design. Mm-hmm. The Tema motorway, which I call the Tema road these days. Under normal circumstances, Bernard, it should not be possible for people to even get on the road to steal street lights on the Tema motorway.
You are right. The way a road is designed like that.
Exactly.
How can somebody just go and just start road?
The very basic function of that road means that it's a death sentence for anybody trying to get there and climb. It also means it's easy to police that road.
But no, do you know the problem though? In most motorways in other countries, you hardly see settlement next to it. What has happened to us is that our motorway is basically in the middle of the city, where people are driving, people are selling and buying, and their houses and things. People are crossing. Like they are passing. When you get to the motorway, there are people crossing like everywhere. So it's really like a busy street.
Yes.
And the other point is we don't.
A very busy street.
Yeah. So it I don't know.
Why won't it be easy for somebody to plan to steal Madina Zongo?
There are always people there.
Why won't it be easy?
No, but you can't steal the Madina because there are always people there.
So are the lights on there?
Actually, the security light is on. So when you're from Zongo coming towards Firestone, there's a few cameras and there are some bright lights, but I don't know if the street lights are on.
Well, ask those who use it regularly if the street lights are on there. Because I've driven past there a few times in the evening and...
Somebody wants me to ask you a question.
Yes, please.
The person says, Bernard.
Yes?
Is it just me or do you guys feel it too?
We feel it.
It's as if government work has come to a stop. Nothing seems to be going on in Ghana now. Is it because of the elections?
Yes.
Is it? You also know if you feel it too.
Oh, my point, it's true. The MPs have poor ejuma. The public servants have poor ejuma.
Are you sure?
Everybody has closed work.
I usually use events to assess. So usually, in my line of work as an MC,
true.
There are lots of programs that will happen. A lot of programs happened in August, September, October. As if they wanted to end the year. I have a program tomorrow, but I think everybody is waiting.
Look, there's one ministry here. I've monitored them for a long time. They don't do anything the whole year. When they're about to close the books, Charlie, program upon program,
back to back.
You will attend.
So they time their programs to end. Well, listeners, somebody's asking if
you can feel that the system has shut down.
I don't know. Maybe you should tell me. It says it looks like the government work has come to a stop and nothing seems to be going on because of the elections. I don't know. Maybe those who are those who follow government closely should let me know. But this is a feeling somebody has.
Meanwhile, this weekend when they opened that street in my area.
Oh, another one?
Yeah, Esla.
Oh, Lord. I thought she had one there already.
No, this is the first one that she has done there.
But is there a park in your area?
We have the Karindorf. That's the Liberty Park.
So that's only grass?
Yeah, that's the grass one. So
is it more expensive to maintain that than to build an AstroTurf?
Yeah. Maintaining grass is super expensive.
But is that not what we need?
But the best, yes.
So this AstroTurf, where is it?
Brobe. You know Brobe?
No, I don't know.
That's my last stop.
That's me. I know exhibition.
After exhibition, the next one. There's last stop.
Oh, there is...
Yeah, so you make a left there. They opened it on Saturday with the finals of the ESLAC Foundation Cup.
Oh, who won?
I think it was Soccer Bridge versus one team. I don't know. I haven't checked who won yet.
You should let your boys also go and play.
Oh, I played the opening game actually.
And you lost.
I played for 10 years. They scored us 1-0. But that was at my sand park in.
Or maybe
a life park.
Maybe we should let the politicians also use street lights. Maybe the best way to get them to give us street lights is to make it a campaign. So they will say, I am MP for this place. I've given you 200 street lights. So maybe we should.
No, but that is the problem, you see, because because actually a lot of street light work is done by the MPs, not the municipalities. You know?
Really?
Yes. A lot of the street lights you see in your neighborhood would have been donated by your MP.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Is that a good or bad thing?
I don't know what to make of it, but he speaks to the maintenance and quality.
So they donate it, but then they are not the institution to manage it.
Yeah.
So it may not be necessarily a good thing in the long run.
You haven't realized?
I haven't thought about it.
Oh.
So they put their names on it?
No, but it is there are people who fix it for you.
So you know that it's from them?
Oh, of course. You don't want to know.
Wow.
A moment of silence.
Something wicked. Hey, beats like.
Jabudu of YPG and YAF National Office.
It's called YAF.
YAF. From your husband Adolph Asari and the children Adobia, Obaya, Mamifua, and Papa Kojo.
All right.
Happy birthday to Reverend Winfred O. Tete, the minister in charge of PCG Bethlehem Congregation. We say it is well. This year will be great from Na Kai and Na Ashile.
Okay.
And to Nuhu Bayobo Mahama from the management and staff of Students Loan Trust Fund. The message is to an amazing CEO, aka the Submarine. Your leadership is invigorating. We love you.
It says the Submarine means the guy they appear without notice. But for today, it's been a lot of legal discussion started off with Mahama Yarga of the NDC, Atachan of the MPP, and Dr. Rashid Ramani of the Africa Center for Parliamentary Affairs. Tuesday is going to be an interesting day. October 22, we'll be there covering live for you. Coming up next is Brunch in the City. Before that, City News at 10 with Hawa Idrisu. Final request, Bernard, please wish my dear husband Maulom Agbeve, formerly of Achimota School, a happy, glorious, marvelous 67th birthday. From me, I wish him good health, long life. May he have high favors in all he does. From Patte Agbeve at Oyibi to the husband Maulom Agbeve, happy 67th birthday to you. All right, so we end the show here. Thank you, Godfrey. Thank you, Nathan. We have Hawa with the news. Good morning.
Good morning, Bernard. This is the